Good afternoon, everyone. It's Andy Glenn here from Sharks TV. Joined this week by Liam Stenton, club captain. Liam, how are you doing?
I'm good, Andy. Thanks for having me on again. How are you?
I am doing okay. It's been a while since we've had a podcast, you and me.
It has. It's been, I think, since last season. Maybe.
Yeah, you weren't the captain. You weren't the captain.
I wasn't the captain last season, but yeah, it's been a while. First one as captain as well, so it's good to be on.
And how are you finding things this season?
It's a good question to start off with.
I'm throwing you right in at the deep end.
Not as good as we hoped. I mean, I think if you look at from the position we're in now to last season, I don't think we're much better off. Maybe a point or two. I don't know. But yeah, it's not as good as we want it to be. We want to improve. We want to keep getting better. When that happens, I don't know. I mean, we need to start creating our own luck. We're not getting much. So yeah, not in a great position. But I mean, we've got improvements to make. We know what we need to do, so hopefully the next couple of weeks we start to see them and start to push on, pick up some more points.
Has there been a particular game or issue that's been annoying you?
Another good question. I mean, you could probably tell from the penalty I took a couple of weeks ago now. The officiating's been tough. I mean, we were talking off air before there about like game reviews and video review in the game. You mentioned the game with Hull and Milton Keynes, and there was no penalty called in the game, but there was a 5-minute major handed out after the game. Obviously it goes to DOPS, and I don't know if there's a ban, but there's definitely a big major penalty handed out, and that could change a game in the moment. I mean, there was one goal we scored against Swindon and got waved off. It happened to us last year against Sheffield as well, got waved off. I mean, if that's reviewed on the moment, whether it's a goal or not is a different story, but at least it gets reviewed and you get a second chance to maybe get that goal, and then that could change a game ultimately. Like the one in Hull with Milton Keynes, if that's a 5-minute major penalty, there's 5 minutes of power play, you could score 2-3 goals in that time. Yeah. So it could completely change a game.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I think Milton Keynes won that game by the odd goal, and there was a play during the game which wasn't called, but Hull put in a review request, and Tim Wallace got a 5-minute would have got a 5-minute penalty for a hit to the head.
If that happens in the game, then it's a completely different story.
Well, the thing for me that makes it really interesting is I love to talk about hockey, as you know, but what I really love to do is to talk about like a last minute, a Torn Anderson goal of the week goal or something like that. But too often I feel we're talking about decisions, and sometimes they go for you and sometimes they go against you, but I'd rather it was consistent all the way through. And DOPS used the same video that is on the stream. When we look at it on the stream, when we're commentating on the stream, we are seeing it and we get that benefit of that review. And I just wonder, to help the officials make the right decisions, if we could do these live reviews like they do in the Elite. The Elite League, or the goalkeeper, or the officials can actually request. Yeah. Did the puck cross the line, like in the playoff final last season?
Yes, as they'd use it in the Elite League. It's when I was playing in there, they used it quite a few times, and especially in Glasgow. I remember it quite a few times. The refs going to the wee box and having a watch and coming back on, making their call. But it is like, as a player, it's hard to even see if one of our players gets tripped, if that's a penalty or not. Obviously, the refs are trying to make that decision as well. So it's not a dig at the refs to say you need to be better. It's almost like a helping hand. Like here's some help. Here's how they do it in the higher league. Here's how they do it. Obviously, the NHL's got the same kind of thing. So it's not to hinder the refs. It's to help the refs, and it's to make the game flow better and to keep everyone happy and to keep it consistent, because it's a consistency that kind of throws you off. Like some games were absolutely brilliant. The Swindon game at home, I think that was the most fluent game we've had the whole season, and it was a clean game. Been two good teams going at it. We come out 3-2. Obviously, then 2 late goals to kind of take us over the line. But it's a good game the whole way through. There's not too many penalties called. The penalties are called. There's no rash decisions by the refs. And then the second night, it was almost a complete opposite. And it's tough. Like, it's not easy for the refs to make a call on the second at the moment. And like you said, the review's just going to help them. It's not there to hinder them. It's there to help them, and it'll help everybody.
It's not like football and VAR, because there are more breaks in hockey anyway. So if there's an injury, there can be a break for a good 5-10 longer minutes, or the plexus broken or something along those lines. These things happen. Yeah. But to make the right decision continually would be a good thing. Now, how does it work in the Elite League? So say there's a dubious call that's either been called or a a call that's been missed, and the bench want to challenge that. How does it actually work?
So I don't know. I think it's only goals, like so offside. If there's an offside that they missed and there's a goal scored off that, or I think if the net comes off, I think the refs can actually go and watch it back themselves to determine whether the net, if it was the net was on, whether it would have been a good goal or not. I think it's only offsides and nets coming off that the bench can challenge on. If they get that right, they get the awarded goal. If they get it wrong, it's a 2-minute penalty, I'm sure.
Right.
So then the same the other way, if say we were playing Swindon, if Swindon are offside, or we think Swindon are offside, we challenge that and it turns out they're onside, we would get a 2-minute penalty because we were wrong, and then they go in the power play for 2 minutes. So it's,
you have to be fairly sure that there's a decision or you're taking a penalty.
Exactly, yeah. You have to be 100%, not maybe not 100%, but you need to be pretty confident that you're getting the right decision to make that call, because then if not, you're potentially losing another goal on a penalty kill. Any
idea how it would work with a missed call like the Tim Wallace one that we're talking about? Would you be able to challenge that?
I mean, potentially. I mean, it's down to the ref officials and the league officials and how they want to work that. But if it was to be brought in, I think especially for dangerous hits, things like that, it would be maybe a good thing to bring in, obviously to help with player safety and stuff as well, because ultimately that's what it's all about. But yeah, goals obviously are a main change of the game, but like you said, a 5-minute major penalty could change a game massively for the team that are on the power play.
And I see James, who's the producer for the live stream, just at the corner there, just giving it, I've got enough to do in game day, I don't want to be doing this. But the integrity of the game, the integrity of the sport is the key thing, and we need to get some of these calls 100% right, in my opinion, so that we're not talking about officials at the end of the game, we're talking about goals.
Yeah, the goods and bads, plays. The plays, exactly. But yeah, it's tough, obviously, with all the different rinks and all the different setups we've got in the rinks in the league. So it's going to have to be like a set thing for every
club does a stream, Liam. So
well, I guess so. It's maybe just changing some things so that they can have it live feedback and the refs can go back and turn it back as many times as they need to. But I mean, it's like I said, it's down to the league and down to the league officials whether they want to do that or not. It might never come in. It might be a couple of years. Who knows?
This is just a shooting the breeze. I just thinking up this before I come on. Right, what am I going to ask Liam? Let's noise them up about officials because they all love you, really, don't they?
Oh yeah, they really like me. Yeah.
Have you found being captain different or a challenge?
I mean, I've been a captain for Martin with the Great Britain setup, and then last year when I came back I was the assistant captain, so Struan kind of gave me a little bit of the reins last year, and especially on the ice, speaking to the refs. I mean, Ross Murray loved a wee chat with the refs, but if he was injured on the bench, whatever it may be, I would go over and speak to them, and you gain a little level of respect from the refs when you've got a letter on your chest, but then sometimes they disrespect that and they decide not to talk to you, which is fair enough because sometimes I don't want to talk to them, but I never try and go over in a malicious way, apart from maybe one I can remember.
Don't drop yourself in it. Stop talking now, Liam.
But no, you go over, you try and be as open as you can. You want to listen to what they've seen, because obviously you might have seen something completely different. But then it's a two-way street where it's got to be heard both ways. I'm not just there to listen to them. I'm hoping that they're going to understand where I've seen it from, where maybe the bench have seen it from, and that's why we're noising them up in the moment. But no, you do learn a little level of respect from the refs, and Struan did help me with that last year by giving me a little bit of the reins, especially on the ice, and kind of a little bit in the room as well. But I'm taking over this year, I try and do as much of the talking to the refs as I can. Gardner and Arsenal are over there as well. Obviously Joe Coulter's my other assistant, and then Scott and Kergem, they've got the letters on. So any one of us can go over and speak to them, and I'm sure we're all respected enough that we can get an answer out of them if we need it.
It's a strange one. Sometimes on the end of a stream, I'll realise that I've hardly mentioned the referees, and I always think that's a good sign. And I always say, well, I've never mentioned the referees, so that's a good thing. Do you ever say at the end of a game, congratulations, that was a real good game, you handled that well?
Absolutely. I think the Swindon game at home on Saturday, I think I'd said that to all four of them. But that was a great game, great officiating, and it run really smoothly. And I don't know if they listen to me or if they don't care or whatever it may be, but if it's not officiated well, I tend not to say anything. After the whistle's done, and the buzzer's gone and the game's over, so there's not really much point. But during the game, if there's a good call, I'll tell the ref it's a great call. I'll tell the linesman if he's on the bench, he calls an offside in front of us, it's quite tight but it is offside, I'll tell him that's a good call, even if it's against us. I like to be encouraging and help them out as much as I can as well. So it is a little mutual respect thing there, but sometimes you kind of get on the wrong side of it, but that's the way it goes.
Well, that's enough about talking to officials. How do you get on talking to your teammates?
Good. I feel like I've earned a little bit of respect as well. Obviously, like I said with Struan last year, kind of giving me a little bit more of the reins. I feel like I'm well respected in the room. Guys listen to me if I need to talk. Try not to talk too much, because I've been in teams where a captain's just talked and you're like, just shut up, I need to get on with what I need to do. So I maybe say one thing, two things every game, but I try not to speak too much. I try and see something at the end of every game as well, just to kind of let the room settle down a little bit. Sometimes before Martin and Ross and Jamie and Struan come in, but sometimes after, like once they've came out, they've went out the room and went upstairs to get food and stuff. Just before the boys jump in the shower, I'll just say a little something that's on my mind, or I'll open the floor up to other boys as well. And we've had player meetings and stuff where I've kind of opened the floor and then just let the other boys talk, and it's a very open room. We don't want to be like, I'm in charge and you're in charge. It's all very like, everyone's on the same level. Like if anything needs to go up the way, it can come from me, it can come from anybody. We've all got that respect with the coaching staff, and even all the way up to John and Peaks. Obviously Dunny's in there kind of as a middleman between them two, but if one of us needs to go to Peaks, he can go to Peaks, and then Peaks can take it forward to John. And it's a very, very respectful club, and everyone's kind of knows their position and knows where they need to go to get the answers they need.
All right, I'm going to ask you another question. Two parts to this question,
right,
so I'll let you think about both. What's the easiest part of being a captain, but also what's the most difficult part about being a captain?
The easiest part is playing the game, because
ceremonial puck drop. Yeah, just turn up, get your photo.
As long as it's at home, because I can win it then. But the easiest part is playing the game. That's what I do. It's why I do it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So the easiest part is putting that top on. I mean, if I didn't have a C, I'd still play the same way. If I had to see like I do, I'm still going to play the same I'd play without it. So playing the game's the easy part. The hard part's probably being perfect, because me as a captain, I like to lead by example. Even if I've not got a letter on my chest, I still like to lead by example. I work hard every time I'm on the ice. I put everything into every shift. So being perfect is a thing I like to hold myself accountable for. Get every puck battle I want to win. Every time I've got a one-on-one, nobody's getting by me. If I'm making a right choice going over the blue line, if I'm making a play, it needs to be on the tape and things like that. So I'm hard on myself in that sense, that I want to be perfect every time I'm on the ice. I mean, it's sport, it's never going to happen 100% of the time, but I try and hold myself accountable to be perfect every time I'm on the ice. So that's probably the hardest part, and almost letting myself know that I can make mistakes, but also being hard enough on myself that I know how to fix them mistakes, and then the next time I go out I can rectify it.
It's really interesting, because I think it's one thing that us fans notice about a lot of players, but particularly you. So we're struggling in a game, things aren't going our way, and you almost see, right, the game's going to try and take this by the scruff of the neck to make something happen, because it means a lot.
Yeah,
we get that. Is that leadership, or is that a weakness?
If you ask Martin, he'd probably tell you it's a weakness.
I'm asking you. Martin's not here.
I'm the same. I get told all the time that I need to not put the team on my back, especially like early on in the game. Like if we got a goal down, it's maybe a leadership trait that's not the best leadership trait, where I see like the team's kind of struggling here, I need to do something, but I then get the puck and skate up halfway up the ice and get it taken off me, and they go down on a 3-on-2 or whatever it may be. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just that kind of high percentage play that.
So judgment call. And you said before you like a high risk play.
High risk, high reward. I like. Martin probably hates me for saying that, but I do like a high risk, high reward. But yeah, it is hard when the team goes down and you can see the boys are a little bit low. I'd try and take the game by the scruff of the neck and go and do something to G the boys up. But it's always hard, and like you said, it's maybe not the best leadership trait, but
I never said that.
Well,
I never said that at all.
Like I said, it's I wouldn't say it's a weakness, because it's coming from a good place. Like I don't do deliberately. I don't go out and lose a puck deliberately.
No, everybody sees what it means to you. I think that's the key thing.
It is just because it means so much to me, and this club means a lot to me, that I don't like to see us losing, even if it's by a goal. If it's by 4, I don't like that at all. I don't like losing, and winning's fun, so I want to win.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, what games have you particularly enjoyed playing in this season?
The ones we've won, Andy.
just those, the rest have been rubbish?
No, I mean, down in Bristol, 1-1 going into the last 40 seconds. Again, a soft call. 8 seconds to go, I think they scored 6 seconds, whatever it was. That was a tough one to take, but up until that point, I mean, we hadn't played our best, but we were in a 1-1 game, and that's the kind of hockey you want. You don't want to be winning 10-0. I'd rather lose 10-0 than get beat 2-1 in the last 8 seconds. So. But yeah, it's games that we've won have always been fun. I mean, the Swindon at home on the Saturday night, great battle, great game. Even on the Sunday, apart from the maybe dubious calls, but the game was good. It's two good teams battling against each other, and that for the fans especially, that's what you want to see. And for the boys, like, being in a tight game is way better than being up 10-0. It's why you play the game. It's enjoyable. The compete level is always high, and that's how you want that's how you want the games to go, and that's what you want to play on.
So what do we look forward for the rest of the season? Now, didn't tell me we're going to win every game, because we need a bit of realism here. What are we aiming at here?
Well, we're still aiming at the playoffs. That's still our minimum target. I mean, we don't just want to scrape by in 8th. We want to be higher up the table. But I mean, the way we started, if we do make 8th, we'll be pretty happy with that. As long as we make the playoffs and then we get a chance at the end of the season to make some silverware. Whether that happens or not is a different story. But if we get to 8th or above, we've got that chance to get there. So obviously the cup's out of reach now. The league's quite unlikely. It probably is still possible in a way, mathematically. But it's we're aiming for the playoffs now. We've got to win as many games as we can. I mean, if we keep picking up points every weekend, obviously Bristol was just a one weekend game, but if we pick up 2 points minimum every single weekend from now to the end of the season, we'll probably be in quite a good spot. And then the odd time, there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows, obviously, as you know, as a sports fan, but there's got to be a consistency within the team that we are picking up a minimum of 2 points every weekend. Some weeks there'll be 4, some weeks there might not be any, like that weekend in Bristol there with the one game. But we've got to keep pushing and keep the effort up. I mean, it's not like we're for the lack of trying. Like, we're doing everything we can every game. It's just maybe a bit of puck luck. We've got to create our own luck at some times, but it's going to be a hard push. But we're aiming to make that top 8 and to pick up a minimum of 2 points every week.
I think that's probably the thing that's been frustrating for everyone, has been the lack of consistency, because some games we'd beat anybody in this league, and the league's great. I mean, it really is. Anybody can beat everybody. We've heard that so many times. But we play a brilliant game at home in particular, and fans travel a long way to watch the Sharks, and we're thinking, same performance tomorrow, we'll blow this team out of the water. And it just doesn't seem to happen. We've just not had that 4 point weekend yet.
Yeah, it's I honestly, if I had the answer, we wouldn't be in this position. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the travel. I mean, we don't want to make excuses, but I don't know if it's the travel. I don't know if it's the recovery some boys are going through. But I mean, we try and do everything we can to put on a double performance every weekend, especially for the fans, but for us as well. Like, we want that winning. Like I said, winning's fun, and we want to win. When you win 2 in a row, it's better than winning 1. So, I mean, it is tough. The travel's hard, but I mean, you signed up for it at the start of the year, so you can't use it as an excuse. But we've just got to find a way to put 2 performances together and be consistent. That's the thing we're missing right now, is that consistency over a weekend. I mean, like you said, Saturday at home we're usually pretty good. Sunday away we're not so good. But even when we've been away on a Saturday, we've came home on a Sunday and we've been pretty good. So we've been, I wouldn't say fully consistent, but we've been more consistent at home than we have been away. So if we can keep that consistency at home and then try and build on some consistency away,
get that 50%
exactly
team. I have to ask about the elephant in the room though, because the power play has been poor.
Yeah, it's not been great. We've been working on it last week at training there. We're gonna hopefully touch on it again tonight on Thursday. I mean, it's just one of them things. It's maybe not clicking. If you look at our penalty kill though,
penalty kill's got really good recently.
Massively.
Really good.
Boys have really bought into the new kind of system that we're playing, and it's really helped us kind of push to win games. And obviously the power play is maybe our downfall at this point, because in Bristol we had quite a few and managed not to put one in the net. But it's teams are learning to kill against us, so we maybe have to change some things around, to move some boys around. I mean, that second unit that I'm on, Kel used to be in his one-timer spot, but now we've kind of shift things around and we're starting to roll. And I don't know, it's going to need work done, and we're going to do that. So
it's dead easy from a fan's perspective.
Oh,
every
100%.
fan in the stands knows we need to shoot the puck, or we need to crash the net. But it's not as simple as that.
No, it's not. Even sitting on the bench, like when I'm watching that first unit out there, I might nudge Kel and say, "Oh, they need to do this, they need to do that," and then we go out and they're probably doing the same thing to us. And it's like the fans, it's like you said, shoot. But if you're just shooting at leg pads, it's not going to go in the net. So it's the power play's hard, because you've got a couple options to do. You either shoot everything, you don't shoot until you see the right shot, or you kind of do 50-50, and it's trying to find that balance and find a way that it works for you and your team. And obviously when you're going against different teams every weekend as well, the kill's different, so
Is it fair to say we fix the power play, we go up to 75% as opposed to 50%?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the penalty kill, as long as the penalty kill stays hot, we kind of get that PP going a bit more and get some goals on that, and it starts to create a lot more pressure on our team. If they take a penalty, like there's a 75-80% chance they're going to score here, whereas if we're on the kill, there's a 80% chance we're going to kill the whole penalty. So if we keep them percentages up, we up the power play, then it will definitely be in a better spot.
Well, before we say cheerio to everyone on the stream, remember to like, share and subscribe. It's been a while since you've heard me say that, hasn't it? We need to do that. But the big question of the entire podcast, you're going to be free for the Christmas quiz.
What date is it?
I can't tell you what day we're going to put it out.
I'll be free then. Yeah.
You need to be. We're recording it. We're recording it probably around the 12th.
I'll be free.
All right. Okay.
I'll make myself available.
Who's going to be the replacement for McGill? Who's unless you're going to bring him in from Hull, but we're not having that.
Can't do that. I'll need to have a think about that.
All right.
You'll see in the night of the quiz.
All right. We'll see. And anybody that's want a suggestion, who should Liam get in his team? Just stick it in the comments.
Let us know.
Couldn't be any worse than last year. You finished second last year.
Yeah,
Wasn't it too
bad?
bad?
We were all right. We've been studying. Coco's been hard at the books, so
has he?
We'll be good to go, I think.
He was your star.
Oh yeah, he was
your star.
He led the boys. Like.
Right, so we'll look forward to that. You've now got a bit of time as captain now to speak to the fans, to pass on any messages you might have.
Just a big thank you. Obviously, it's been tough with the games not going our way most of the time, but we really appreciate all the travelling support, especially down with Bristol at the weekend there. There was a big, massive support, and we really do appreciate it. I mean, we're coming around at the end. We maybe don't look very happy to see you, but it's just because we've been beat, So, but now we really appreciate the support. The home support's been brilliant. I mean, get out to as many games as you can. Bring your friends, bring your neighbours. Speak to anybody in the town that's maybe thinking about it. Tell them to come along. But yeah, keep bringing people, keep turning up, keep making the noise, and we really do appreciate it. As well, we're going to start the school visits again soon. I hope John Dunbar doesn't mind me saying this, but any teachers out there, anyone that's involved in a school looking to get the Sharks in to speak to your kids and have a bit of fun, let us know, email the club, and we'll get down as soon as we can.
Well, it just remains for me to say thank you so much, Liam, for coming in today to chat with me. We wish you all the best for the rest of the season. And we wish you all the best at home. Thank you so much for watching us. This is Andy Glenn saying cheerio.